Hey everyone, it's Floss and welcome to my 2016 Best Reads video. 2016 was a crazy year for me. I changed my role in the publishing industry incredibly. I became a fangirl as opposed to a professional fan person, disseminator, sharer. It was great because it meant that my reading freedom became immense. I used to have to read of the one imprint. I used to often read in the one zone and the one lane. And I was usually reading manuscripts and early drafts of things in very short, choppy ways. But the freedom of reading to me has just been awesome this year. It meant that I could catch up on a lot of books and series that I've missed out on. It meant that I could just decide what I wanted to read in the moment and not think, oh my God, I have to read that tomorrow because it's an acquisition meeting. I need to decide if we like it or not and hurry, hurry, hurry. Yay, reading 2016. Some of these books are interesting, some of these books are challenging, some of these books are fun. One of my favorite reads of 2016 was Modern Romance by Aziz Ansari. This is a great look at how modern dating has been completely changed by internet dating, how relationships, both friendships, but mainly romantic relationships, are completely askew with the technology that's been on offer and the ability to move on when something isn't quite working the way you expect it to work. And I found this really interesting, not only in a relationshipy way, but in a way that we interact with people and the way that we expect to be interacted with, in that our patience for people's ability, our patience for people's idiosyncrasies and their uniqueness is far less than it used to be. In that, and this is something that was really, I really took away from this book, is that we used to have a patience for that. We don't have that anymore. We're very much, this is my tribe, as opposed to, isn't that interesting and unique and I want to hear about that experience. And I think that comes especially with dating, but also just in friendships and relationships. So this is why I really like this book. It also had a humorous element to it in terms of this is a non-fiction science, psychology, sociology based book, but it has Aziz's insights and his experiences in using this. So that's what I really enjoyed about it. I'm not a huge fantasy reader. This is something very much, if you watch my channel, you know, but I was really pushed by the blogs world to read Nevernight, and I'm so glad I did. This book I battled through really hard in the first 100 pages, but once that broke through for me and I was into the world, I loved it. The footnoting especially added an extra depth and dimension to the world, the history of the characters, about who they are. I loved hearing about with that humorous Jay Christophe kind of vibe. The last section of the book is just an action epic adventure with twists and turns that I did sort of see some of them coming, but the others I was just like, oh wow, okay. So I'm really excited to see where this series goes. I think he's going to zag when we expect him to zig, and vice versa. Never know. I read this series at the start of the year because it was one of the most hyped series of end of 2015, I think. And so I caught up very quickly at the beginning, and then I picked up the sequel. It is the Luminous series. So amazingly, awesomely, epically good. This series is just so good. I will leave links to the reviews. Amy and Jay, they know how much I love this series. I've told them to their faces. I've told people in the street, in the bookstores. I have pushed this on at least 3 people in bookstores. I think the way that they attack this world with such confidence and skill and world building is unbelievable, but also the way that they write this in a way that is not Love Oz YA, and I don't mean that as a criticism to Love Oz YA, but these are 2 Australian storytellers telling a completely global story, and that's such an exciting thing to see, and it's a bestseller in a lot of markets, and I think that's something we should be really proud of. So yay! The other series that I picked up and joined because everyone kept on telling me to do it, a little late, and now I'm fully up to speed. And interestingly, my review of especially book 2, you would think wouldn't make it my best of list, but it's a story that I really enjoyed anyway. The series that I enjoyed was A Court of Thorn and Roses and A Court of Mist and Fury. Now, Mist and Fury for me had some problematic things happen in terms of, yeah, I'll leave a link to the review, but still, even with those problematic things happening, I enjoyed the construction, I enjoyed the plot, the pacing, the characterization of people in terms of some of the side characters, especially in this book, but in this book as well. I think the problematic things are problematic. Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, I don't know why it's on my best of list, but I was looking at my shelves to pick this up and it made it. I don't know. It's a weird thing to say that I had major problems with something that was done in book 2, yet I still want it on my best of lists. I don't even know how to answer that question. And I think my #1 read for 2016, and it kind of shocked me a little bit in that this book just, I don't know if it was the mood I was in when I read it, it just beautifully connected to me. and it crept up on me, and afterwards it made me think about fate and circumstance and love and being vulnerable to love and those kind of things. The Sun is also a Star by Nicola Yoon. I loved this book. I really did. I thought it was told with such confidence in terms of the characters, and that this is a story that could have easily, she could have spent so long trying to explain why these people had such an instant connection and justifying that when she just got on with it. And that's what I think was great about this, in terms of there were some other books this year that I read that had a bit of insta love in them that spent too long trying to justify it and it didn't pay off. Whereas this just got on with telling me a fantastic story about these characters that had a lot of stuff happening in their lives, and this relationship really forced its way into their life at that moment and did so brilliantly. I love this book. Now, I will say there were some books that almost made the list. A few of them I didn't put in because of professional bias. So Will Kostakis and Siobhan Plaza wrote some amazing books, but because I was involved in those books professionally, I feel like that bias is there and stated. So Frankie and the Sidekicks, I loved it. It was amazing. You were fantastic, but I can't quite include you in my 2016 because I worked on your book as a marketing tool, and I feel like that would be just continuing to do that and use my influence. But your next books I'm going to rave about because I have no bias at all. What? My 2016 list is full of strange choices in that some of the books I actually didn't rate too well, but they stayed with me. And so I guess for me, 2016 best of reads are books that I would either recommend to someone, even if it has problems of character that I didn't quite believe in, or books that I just loved. So obviously the love, easy to explain, but there was some stories in here that I was like, okay, I didn't love this element or that element, but I still, as a whole package, was like, this was a great read. It kept me entertained, it kept me involved, and it challenged me at times. That's what I kind of classify as a great read. That is my 2016 best of list. I'm not a huge fast reader, so I don't have a massive list. But tell me below, do you agree, do you disagree? I know there are a few people, I've watched a few of your videos who we've got similar choices on. If there are some of the books on my list that you hated, more power to you. We can't all love the same things. Let me know what you disagree with in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll have a whole different range of 2017 books to talk about at the end of next year.